Hey everyone, this is Judi with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. In this video, I'm going to be decorating and hand lettering the week of April 25th through May 1st. It is, we're going to start our descenders now. That's the letter J, which I get excited about, except that I never write Judi with a lowercase j, or JLBCrafts. So, but anyway, it's exciting that we're starting descenders already. We're really knocking out the letters this year. So, but before we get into that, I wanted to go ahead and let you know that the May letters are ready. The May words are ready. And moving forward, the words probably won't change very much from 2021, simply because at this point we have ascenders and descenders, and I have to be careful because if I'm not, then we have a lot of conflict between the rows. So moving forward, I will be probably using the same words because these are tried and true combinations where I have hopefully minimized. There's no minimizing with F. F goes way up above the midline, way down below the baseline. It's like an ascender and a descender all in one. So anytime there's an F, it's going to be a problem. But for the most part, what I tried to do moving forward, now that we've added descenders to the mix, is try to keep the ascenders on one side and the descenders on the other side of the page. So if you look, for example, an F is not a good example, but like pick pond. So if I'm going to cycle through all the letters and I have a descender, it's really hard to get them all in one side. For example, here are two P's in apple, but there's which are descenders, but there's also an ascender, an L. So I tried to keep them as separate as I could, but what I'm going to do moving forward is just review 2021, the month, and any place where there were significant conflicts, I'll make some adjustments. So for example, I did rearrange the order a little bit of the words for F week, but I didn't change the words. It takes actually a lot of time to come up with words that start with F, end with F, have a double F, have an F in the middle, and combine that all with trying to keep the conflicts between ascenders and descenders to a minimum. That takes forever, and I feel like I would probably end up with mostly the same words anyway. So if you want to sneak ahead, I can't guarantee everything will be exactly the same, but they'll be mostly the same. So if you want to peekaboo at what's coming further out, go ahead and look at 2021's words. Moving forward, they're probably going to be mostly the same. So, but this video posts on Sunday. Sunday let's see, what's today? Today, well, it's gonna post on the 24th. And then these will probably go up around the 26th on all my social medias. The best way to get a copy of this is to go to my Facebook page. I always have these pinned at the top, and that is just a clean, I think it's a PNG. It's a clean picture file, so you can grab it and just print it, fit to page, portrait size. So, and that's for a big. If you have a classic, you need to scale it down a little bit. But anyway, you can screenshot and print that. Or if you want to just grab an already isolated picture, you can get that most easily off my Facebook page, because Instagram won't let you grab pictures without making it a screenshot, and then you get all kinds of other extra stuff. So anyway, all right, enough about all that. So let's talk about the theme I'm going to go with. So I really don't have a challenge theme I'm going to go with. What I want to do is I knew about Planything for a while because some of the YouTubers where I learned about planning, my inspiration, they've been opening Planything monthly subscription boxes for a long time now, which never really interested me a whole lot. But what I didn't know is Planything has books now, and I had shied away from the books because they had the clear stickers were glossy, and I'll use them. Some of my favorite Planners Anonymous Michaels books from Craftsmith Michaels are glossy, but I prefer the non-glossy stickers. When I print my own stickers on clear paper, I use matte. And so I found out that they have switched over from glossy clear stickers to the matte clear stickers, which is awesome. And then on top of that, then they came out with this book that's all houses and trees, but you guys, it's seasonal houses and trees. I was drooling. I could not get my hands on this fast enough. These are paper, the boxes, so you can write in them okay. But the stickers that go with, these are clear matte. And look, they're snowy. Like, they're seasonal. So there's all this snowy stuff for winter, and then there's fall stuff. And it's not just fall, like fall, autumn colors. There's Halloween stuff in here. Look at this house. If that's not a Halloween house, I don't know what is. And this one with the ghost and the little tombstones. Oh my gosh. So there's fall ones, but there's like, and this one could be fall or it could be spooky. It definitely reads spooky to me, but and you get 2 pages of each. So, and then here is, so my parents are snowbirds. They live permanently now in Florida, which is why I haven't seen them in a while, because I hate hot weather. But anyway, on top of COVID. But it's got, like, for summer, it's got a couple different little things in here. It's got like the palm trees and these like Florida looking kind of houses with the palm trees, very tropical looking. Not all of them, but a lot of them, with the bright colors of the Caribbean and down south. And then for, I guess these are kind of spring because of the pastel colors. It makes me think spring. So I've had this book for a couple weeks, and I was straightening my office and I came across it and I was like, holy cow, how did I forget about that? How have I not used that yet? So that's what we're going to do. So I have pulled several just plain old super cheap washies. I got these off of AliExpress. As you can imagine, most of them don't have anything inside the core, and if they do, like, you can't read it because it's like Asian characters. But I just pulled a bunch of like earth tones that could be like asphalt or ground or like grass, just a bunch of solids. And then to go along with that, I pulled a Simply Gilded. It's gold foil on like a kind of a gray, sage, earthy green. So you guessed it, I'm going to put this along the edges. And then what I'm going to do is put stripes of this across the 2 pages to be like a ground. And then I'll put like a building and a tree, and then a building and a tree. And I'm just going to build up from there. And then I'll probably pick one to go across the top. Actually, I may not, because I don't think I'm going to have room. I'll figure out what I'm going to do across the top, but let's go ahead and get started. So that's going to be the theme for this week, is the Planything, and I'm going to have so much fun. I love Mediterranean. I have a Mediterranean skin tone. I'm very much Italian, and I have that olive skin tone, and I just, because feeding into that, I love like earth tone colors. It's no wonder green is my favorite color. I love earth tones in my clothing choices. So I'm super excited about picking some nice soothing earth tone colors for my pens as well. We'll get like some softer, maybe some peachier pinks, but not like hot pink, not any really hot, vibrant colors. So I always use Simply Gilded along the edge because it's the perfect size and it's just so pretty. It's so easy and pretty. And so I do have a coupon link in my description box of all my lettering videos, actually all of my videos, not just lettering, for $5 off a purchase of $15 or more if you sign up for their no spam newsletter, and it truly is no spam. If you get an email from them, it's because there's something new or something is on sale. And then if you use my link, I get that same coupon as well, $5 off, $15 or more. And that, so I don't think that those expire, number one. Number two, it's not huge, but it is enough basically to cover shipping, even on a larger, a decent size order. So feel free to use that coupon. So I couldn't really fit, there weren't any stickers really that would fit up here without coming down a lot. And now that we have ascenders and descenders, I didn't want to have sticker going all the way across there. So Next thing I need to do is bullet points, and we'll write in the words. So I have my big bullet point book. I will link in the cards up above how to make this. I just want something, again, kind of earth tone, not super bright. So in the back I have these. I think these came from like the American Crafts sticker books, and they're plasticky, so you can't really check them off, which makes them perfect for this kind of spread. So I think I'm going to use these weird little kind of earth tone asterisks as my bullet points. Another way I like to use these bullet points, the plasticky ones, is as bullet points for recipe planning, because for like the ingredients, because it's not like you're going to check off the ingredients on a recipe when you're making it. But I do like to use bullet points there, so these that you can't check off are pretty perfect for that. So there we go. Okay, let's write in our assignments. So for the 25th, we're going to do letter J. And then we're going to start a couple words with J. Now, June should be capital J, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and practice it with a lowercase anyway. Java, slang term for coffee. Jowl. And then I don't have any words that end in J because they just don't exist in the English language. If you're a native speaker of another language and you have words that end in J, then go ahead and practice, substitute one of those in. 29th, we have jock. Same thing with double J in the middle of a word. I did have one, Hodge, in 2021's J practice, but then I thought to myself, why practice a word that you probably, very few of us will end up writing? So just keeping it real. And Jinn, which is basically a genie. So there we have one word with a J in the middle. Only you don't really pronounce the D, it's just Jinn. But anyway, there we go. There are my sheets. They're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and pick my pens and zoom in, and I'll be back. Alright, so here are the pens I've chosen. I have the Calligraph is actually the firmest pen. I'm going with a little bit more of a different mix than I normally use. I'm not going to use any of the really firm ones today, the Tombow or the Weissbrand. I'm going to start, I think the firmest is pretty much the Calligraph, and so I have the Mauve Pearl, which is much darker than it sounds. I'm going to use a guanya. I haven't used a guanya in forever because I stored them for a long time tipped down, which I thought would make them juicier. And for some crazy reason, it had the exact opposite effect. It dried them out. So I've had them stored actually horizontally for quite some time. It's a little streaky if I write fast, but if I write at slow, normal hand lettering speed, it's not really streaky. So we're going to try the guanya. Then I have a Le Pen Flex. I haven't used one of those in a while. I've got our super dark brown in the Le Pen Flex, and I have my pencil grip on there because it's super skinny. And then last but not least, I have the Pentel Touch in the lightest kind of fawn brown color, which I feel like that one and the Le Pen are about the same softness, so they're pretty much interchangeable. I probably won't write much at all with the big end of the Calligraph except for down here on my ace. So, and I encourage you to warm up on whatever word or letters or strokes you struggle with as far as consistency goes. It doesn't have to be one that you hate. Why torture yourself on purpose every week? We cycle through most of the letters every week, so you will get to practice that letter that is a pain. I would practice more, I would warm up more on things that you struggle with as far as consistency goes. And for me, that's the little oval strokes. So that's why I warm up with ace. So choking up on my pen, paper at an angle, chair at the right height. So again, this says it's mauve pearl, and there's the color on the cap, but it is quite dark. Next I have the guanya, which I have all of these linked in my description boxes. Okay, next is the Le Pen Flex. And if you have trouble holding the Le Pen Flex, just get some cheap pencil grips like I got. And last but not least, what I feel like is the softest is the Pentel Touch brush sign pen. So let's do a deep dive into the J. So J is a descender. Again, so descenders go down below the baseline. Ascenders go up above the midline. That's what we've been doing up to now, the last few letters. So the descender stroke is the letter J and present in the letters F, G, J, P, Q, and Y. Loops will present on both sides of this stroke. So all they mean is your loop can go around clockwise, or it can come counterclockwise in some of the later letters that we practice. So here we go. We're starting at the dot. So we're starting at midline, coming down with our straight diagonal. So this is going to be heavy down, light up, and across for our connector up toward the midline. So here they've put it together with the heavy and the light. So thick, heavy downstroke, light up and across, and then a dot. And our dots never look that perfectly round. So let's see what some of our other options are. So, oh, my pages got all mixed up over here. All right, so the Tombow Fudenosuke calligraphy pen free download. Incidentally, if it bothers you as we get into this week, if you have a lot of problem with your lines, your words hitting each other with the ascenders and the descenders, just use every other set of lines and print out some free practice sheets. As you can see, the spacing on these is pretty much identical. So you can augment with these. They don't all have letters on them. There are blank practice sheets that you can print out double-sided and have extra lettering space, and that way you can just use every other line on here and use a second sheet of paper. Anyway, all right, so here's our J. Again, with the Tombow, they're much more vertical. There's no slant to these. They're starting a little bit below the baseline, and they're almost arcing backwards. It looks a little bit kind of like a not finished figure 8, if you will. So as usual, I don't really care for this particular Tombow style of lettering, especially since you look at how fat and bulbous a lot of them are, and then for some reason the J is super, super skinny. Like even the downward part of the G is fat, the downward part of the F is skinny, and the P doesn't even have a loop. So it's just, and overall, put together overall as a font, I tend to not care for the Tombow, but I like to show it to you all anyway, just in case. All right, so here is the Rainbow Crayola-ligraphy. And as you can see, many years ago, I tried using the Crayola pens for this. They're not true brush pens, so I definitely, as you can see, struggled with them and gave up. So fast forward to today, learning what a real brush pen is, I have much better luck. So this one is similar to the Lovely Letters, but it is, again, very vertical. So again, starting at the midline, coming heavy down, light up and across for the connector. Theirs is, again, much more vertical, less diagonal, but their loop down here is a little bit fatter, which I like better. I think it looks more balanced. Here is the boxed set of Crayola pages. And so they're actually, so this is something to consider, basically an entrance stroke. They're starting here at the baseline, doing a light up, then they're heavy down, then they're light up and around loop. So, I mean, you certainly can do that if you like that, if you like the look of that. There's that lowercase j. And then last but not least, the calligraphy made easy. Let's see what we've got in here. So here's their J. So again, starting at the midline, heavy down, around, light up, kind of a little bit on the skinnier side, and a little bit more slanted, not quite vertical, not quite as slanted as the Lovely Letters. And let's see if there's an alternate. Nope. All right, so let's get going on this. Use the small end of my calligraph to start. So starting at midline, heavy down, light up and around, and then dot. So a little bit swoopy, but that's okay. Heavy down, light up and across, and a dot. So that one I got a little bit more angled. So I encourage you to pay attention to exactly how far down you come. Are you going to come all the way down to the baseline below, or just far enough down that you can tell it's a descender? I tend to not quite go to that baseline, maybe 3/4 of the way down to it. As well as where you cross. As you can see, I crossed quite a bit above the baseline on that one, and I crossed much closer to at the baseline on that one. Not that you're going to practice any words with a double J, but you could have a word that has multiple descenders. Just like last week we had words that had multiple ascenders, and you want those all to look consistent and repeatable. So I'm a little bit all over the place on my how deep down I'm diving on that. And now see, you can already see where we're starting to get into some conflicts here. So the game you end up playing is trying to align your spacing so you're in between the row above. I think I was getting a little too slanted there. So even now I feel like I'm getting a little bit more warmed up. I'm starting to get a little bit more consistency going. So now that we're writing words with letters that cross over this fat line for between the days, decide in your mind whether your actual baseline is the top of that band or the bottom of that band. For me, since it's a descender that's crossing the line, I feel like the top edge of the line is my actual baseline. So for consistency, I'm trying to cross near the top edge of that couple millimeter band there. All right, so let's put the J onto a word. We're gonna write the word June, and that may affect how you feel about what you already practiced, and that's okay. Go ahead and adjust. So normally I would speed up at this point. I did have a request here recently to do a second iteration of the word at real-time speed, so I am going to do that moving forward. Remembering to lift your hand and scooch, technical term, as often as you need to throughout in between the letters and as you go across on the word. So now we have to start worrying about, oh shoot, I forget what the technical term is, but it's entanglement. It's like when this row now needs to avoid hitting the downstrokes on this row. So this one's pretty easy. You really only have to worry about the dot on the J, but you will want to play with your spacing, and don't be afraid to spread things out a little more and grab a second piece of paper if you need to. So now I'm going to start over a little bit so that I have clearance for the dot on my J. Imagine how wonderful that's going to look when we learn the capital J, because we'll definitely do June for that month. and July. Okay, Java. A couple A's in this one, but we get a V. So again, easy to offset this one so that my dot isn't hitting that downstroke on the J above. Luckily, I have no shakes from the cups of Java I had this morning. That one was mostly on the sticker. So now we're going to put an ascender on here as well. So we're going to have to try to dot the J and get the upstroke on our L without hitting any of these. Another tip I found throughout this latter half of last year was that if you actually do your pens from lightest to darkest, then your successive rows can hit the rows above. And you're using a darker pen than the row above, so it's easier to at least get through the practice. It may not look the greatest at the end when you're looking at the completed page with a bunch of conflicts there, but at least you can get through the practice. So just another tip. All right, so let's try jowl. So I think I'll start over this way to the left a little bit more so I can make sure my L ends up in this space. And then we'll go from there. Jowl. I do like the way the L and the W connect. That just looks really nice for some reason. And I'm loving my W now that I've got the center lower than the two ends. So if you're struggling with your W, maybe give that a try and see if that strikes you as something that you like. I'm going to give myself a little extra space on this one to try to offset that LJ so I don't do that again. You already had lunch, dude. I can't see what I'm doing. Come over here. You already ate lunch, baby. You want to sit on my lap now and take a nap, don't you? He's gonna try to squeeze onto my lap while I'm lettering, so I'm gonna let him. I'll be right back. Okay, so he is settled on my lap. I know that's off camera, but we'll see how we go, how long he stays. All right, one page done. We're going to go with jock, so another ascender mix. So we're going to have that same kind of spacing that we're going to have to play with. And I have a big sticker there, but really as long as the K clears it, I'll be fine. So I'm just going to start a little bit further right than I would normally. heavy down, light up. So the K is back. I feel like my guanyas are still just a little bit streaky, a little bit on the dry side. I think my paper's getting a little too turned. It's because I'm reaching over a cat who happens to be asleep on my lap. Not optimal. All right, let's try jam, like door jam. I had no idea I was going to decorate with houses when I put the word jam, as in door jam, on this one. Boy, is the spacing on that one funny. I don't know what happened there. All right, let's try Gin with a silent D on the front. Oh, and there Jazzy just left, so maybe this will be a little bit better. All right. Dot your J, dot your I. So I think the difficulty on this one is my D looks more slanted than my J. So matching the angle on the upstroke loop of the D and the downstroke loop on the J, getting that angle parallel. That was a funny one. It's hard not to be affected by the row up above when you're trying, when you have that conflict there. Let's see if I can put, let's just keep going with trying to fit everything in between. do like my J. I wasn't liking it at first, but I'm getting to the point where I like it now. Whew, we made it. You will have to let me know how you did as far as conflicts go between upper and lower rows. I wish I could say it was going to go away, but if we want to keep practicing all the letters, it's here to stay. And it will be here to stay if you do, when you go to actually do hand-lettered quotes in your planner, if you do more than just a word, you're going to have to deal with this. So we might as well start to get used to it. All right, there we go. There is my J practice. Let me pull 2021 for comparison. So, looks like I did Jin last year, and Jowl. So let's go ahead and compare Jin. So it was the second half of last year's practice and the very last word this year. So I definitely see an improvement. I feel like my consistency is better this year. My angles aren't quite so all over the place, and my individual letter repeatability is better. So I hope you're seeing improvement as well. I hope your muscle memory is developing. You're not really having to remind yourself as much to choke up on the pen, to angle your page. All that stuff should be becoming second nature by now. So I hope you like this video. I hope it encourages you to keep practicing. We're more than halfway through the lowercase letters. If you've gotten this far, my goodness, I can't imagine stopping now. If you don't have time, if you have a tight week, things change in the summer for a lot of folks. Kids go on vacation from school. So don't give up though. Take a break if you need to, but don't give up. Stick with us. Keep tagging me on Instagram so I can keep sharing your successes on my stories so we can help encourage each other. And if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing and helping me continue to spread the word. Thank you.